Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. Sorry, I had to say it one time on one of these live videos. Welcome, and thank you for joining me today. We're going to be going over how to release your hip and back. This class is going to be great for people with joint pain, arthritis, ongoing herniated disc and bulging disc issues right now. Also, just general stiffness. We're all, like I had mentioned in the previous couple ones that I did, that we're all kind of sitting around not being as active as we usually are. So I want to make sure that you are regaining control of your body on a regular basis, and the way that I'm doing this is going ahead and doing these classes every Wednesday and Saturday. So I'm glad you're joining me today. I'm at home, so I've got a little bit of a Koh Samui behind me, if you guys have ever been there in Thailand. So we can all kind of travel when we can't leave the house right now through that way. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. That we're going to be going through 7 moves to help release the back and hips. So we're going to do that from releasing the mid body, the side body, the back, and then the hips. So I'll go ahead and scoot back here so we can get going. Okay, so first we need to start gaining control of our front and back body. How we do that is through the arch and flatten. I'm going to go ahead and start this class with something called the arch and curl, which is the step up from the arch and flatten. So I'm going to go ahead and have you lay on your backs, and we're going to start with the arch and curl to start the release of the mid body and the back. So go ahead and lay on your back with your arms to your side, palms up. Your feet and your knees are going to be hip width apart. And we're going to start with that slow roll of the pelvis upwards into an arch. So there's space right here underneath my back, and then a slow release. If you've done my previous classes, you're familiar with this move. So I'm going to go ahead and go through these rather quickly, but I want you to go slow at home. So it's in the arch, and then a slow release, and then a flatten. So go ahead and start that. I'll go ahead and demo that for you first. We're just going to get the feeling of the movement here, going back and forth, so you really know what the movement is. So it's an arch, release, flatten, release, back and forth. So now go ahead and bring your hands behind your head. We're going to bring our elbows together. That's going to take out the need to want to strain our necks, because when we do the lift for the curl, it's all going to come from that upper rectus abdominis. Now, why we're doing this is we're going to completely be engaging our front body and then completely engaging our back and forth, so we can start to regain control of the full movement of the contractions of both sides. So I'll go ahead and demo the full arch and curl, and then at home I want you to do this about 5 times very slowly. So go about as slow as I'm going right now. So I'm going to go ahead and start with a deep breath in. And I'm going to take a deep breath in neutral, and then start on my flatten and curl. And then slowly, simultaneously release both of them. All the way to neutral, let the body melt, let that front body completely melt and relax, and then continue into the next round. So as you do this, I want you to be taking a deep inhale in, arching the back, lengthening your front body, lengthening your belly, and then contracting everything, the low back, contracting everything up in the upper shoulders in the back, and then slowly, gently ease off as you exhale back to neutral. And then always pause in neutral. We want to show your brain and your body what neutral position is, so go ahead and relax in neutral. Take a deep breath in. And then on the exhale, start your flatten. So start to tuck that pelvis, roll the pubic bone up to the sternum, really engaging the front body. Then that's going to simultaneously lengthen the full spine, and then at that last little bit, use the upper rectus abdominis to lift the head up, and then slowly, gently ease off both of those simultaneously. Okay, so continue to do this about 2 or 3 more times. Rolling back and forth, focusing on what you're feeling, the contraction of the back in the arch, the lengthening of the belly in the arch, the belly filling up like a balloon. Really feel that full contraction of the spine, and then slowly, gently ease off back to neutral. And then as you start to go into your curl, tucking that pelvis, feeling even the shoulders wanting to raise up to help tuck, lifting the head up at the very end to engage the very top of the rectus abdominis and lengthen the spine even more, and then slowly, gently ease off that, both of those simultaneously. And then as you do this, remember the motion isn't coming from the neck. The motion to lift the head is all in the rectus abdominis, so you only need to be coming up off the floor about an inch or two. And then slowly let your body melt. So continue to do that a couple times. Feel the body. Feel what it's saying to you. Start to feel the stiffness that's in there. When you arch, press that tailbone into the ground to get even more of an arch in the back. And then on this last one, go ahead and just relax back to neutral. I'll give you about 5 seconds to do that. And then go ahead and relax. Okay, so now we've opened up the front and back body. And what you want to do is go ahead and go on to your side curls. So let's start to loosen up the side parts of our body, or the obliques. So you're going to go on your side, start whatever side you want first. You're going to bring your hand, top hand over your head, grab your ear, take the bottom hand, put it right above the pelvis, in between the ribs and the rib cage and the pelvis. And then I'm going to make sure and bring my knees up towards my chest at 90 degrees, and then kick my feet forward so they're below my knees, directly below my knees, like I'm in a straight back chair. So then I'm also going to make sure I'm not curling back. I'm going to go straight, and then we're going to start our side curl. So if you've seen this in my previous videos, we usually break it down, but I'm not going to do that today. We're just going to do both at the same time. And you guys can go ahead and watch me first to do this properly. You're going to keep the knees together. And I'm going to slowly and simultaneously lift the top foot off the bottom foot, lift my upper body up using my side body like an accordion, and then very slowly ease off both of them. So I'm feeling with my hand to make sure that I don't feel jerkiness, and if I do, to go slower. And then even when my head and my foot start to touch the ground and the other foot, I don't want to let go. I want to really feel underneath my hand those obliques just sigh and melt. So go ahead and continue to do this. If you're already in position, you're going to lift the top foot, lift the upper body up, engage that oblique, feel it relax or tightening, and then slowly ease off of it, keeping control of it, not letting it go too fast so you can really gain mobility in your side body. All the way to the very bottom. That last 10% is the most important because that's where we tend to be the stiffest. And then just let the body melt. And then go ahead and lift up again, cinching that mid-spine right there between the rib cage and the pelvis. I'm going to use that as much as I can. Don't let yourself cramp though. If you start to cramp, back off a little bit. And then as simultaneous as possible, I'm going to inch, 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 inch down all the way to the bottom and let my body just melt into the floor. Okay, great. So you can do that one more time, or you can go ahead and switch with me. So I'm going to flip to the other side. Same thing. I'm going to take that top hand, bring it over the head, put it on the ear. Let your body relax. I'm going to shift so I'm like in a straight back chair. Bring my knees up to 90 degrees, kick my feet forward so they're below my knees. Straighten my back and make sure you're not curling forward. Straighten your back. Feel with that hand on the bottom. Feel that oblique muscle, and then start your side curl. So go ahead and lift that top foot off the bottom foot. Cinch like an accordion. Feel the tension here, and then slowly, gently ease off. And I want you to imagine as you're doing this, that when you're cinching the side body that's up, you're not only doing that, you're lengthening the opposite side on the ground. So on the next one here, we're going to go ahead and melt. Slowly, slowly. Feel that muscle melt. Now I'm going to really focus on, I want to see how long I can make my left side. Not as much, I'm going to bring my brain to that, and not as much the cinching. So I just want to see how different that will be, and I bet you I can go a little bit higher. So I'm going to go ahead and lift, lift, lift. Feel I'm lengthening, lengthening, lengthening that side body. Yeah, opening up the rib cage on between the pelvis and the hip, the pelvis and the rib cage on the left side, and then slowly letting go and easing off. Okay, so we're going to do that again. We're going to utilize the lengthening of the bottom hip and rib cage area to come up. So go ahead and start it again. Think about opening up. Think about that accordion squishing here too. And then slowly, gently, and as controlled as possible and simultaneous as possible, lengthen that side body, lengthen, 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 lengthen. And then just let it sigh and melt. So you can go ahead and do 1 or 2 more of those, whatever you feel is comfortable. I also want you to notice, the purpose of these videos is really for you guys to learn how to do these at home. So you guys can, after this class, totally do these again, really focusing in a quiet area, because I want you to start noticing things as well. Like, was one of those sides a little bit easier than the other, or was it cramping on one side or the other? That tells your brain that there's a problem there and that you need to focus more. So this is not just stretching and mobility, it's actually retraining our brain. So don't forget that. Okay, so now we've opened up our side bodies and we've got some movement going in our spine. We're going to start with back lift. Now this one can be a little, you're probably going to wonder, why am I going to engage everything in my back when I already have a tight back? So be careful with this one. The reason is because when you have a tight contracted muscle that's chronically tight and contracted, your brain doesn't know how to let go of it. So if you try to stretch it, it actually is going to cause something called stretch reflex. So what we need to do is actually, which is a cramp, we actually have to tighten our backs more and then very slowly and simultaneously guide it out of a contraction to teach it what full relaxation actually is. Because stretching is passive. It's not really something that retrains our brain. Now, I love stretching. Try some stretching after this class, but it's not the means to full recovery. It's just kind of a temporary. That's why you hear stretching isn't really a temporary thing. So we're going to go ahead and start with the back lift. Your hand's going to go underneath your cheek. So whatever way you're facing, go ahead and bring that arm and bring the hand underneath the cheek. This is going to be the opposite leg, and as opposite to the upper body leg that you're going to be lifting. So you can watch me and go ahead and lift the upper part of the body and the opposite leg simultaneously. You're going to notice my eyes are going to look behind me like I'm going to rotate. And now I'm contracting everything in those back muscles that control this movement. And now I'm slowly going to ease off. Even when my elbow and my foot touches the ground, I'm not going to just drop it. I'm going to let it melt. Melt like butter. And sigh. All the way down. Okay, so go ahead and slowly do this again. And I want you to notice that you're not just tightening your back, you're tightening your glute, your hamstring, your lower trap, your upper trap, everything in the back that's chronically tight. Now take a hold of all those muscles and now slowly and focused teach them how to let go and relax. Even when you touch, even when you're hovering, don't let go, don't let go, let it all melt. Great. And then we're going to do that one more time. Go ahead and lift up your body. Also notice if you feel other muscles wanting to work out. So if you feel another muscle like the opposite glute or the opposite butt cheek start to cramp up or start to work, say shut up and tell it to be quiet. Don't go so high, and then refocus on what muscles you're supposed to be using, and then slowly ease off back. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and flip sides. So I'm going to turn to the other side of my mat. I'm going to face the opposite direction. Bring the hand up that's you're facing. Put it underneath the cheek. And then now we're going to lift up again, very slowly, simultaneously, the opposite leg to the arm and the face. I'm even contracting the small muscles along my spine that keep me standing straight. And then I'm slow and controlled, easing off. Okay, just like the side curl, everyone go ahead and slowly relax after this first one. I want you to think about lengthening your front body as you do this now. So again, we're training our brain. So now I'm not going to focus on engaging everything in my back. I'm going to think about lengthening everything in my front, because that also needs to happen in order to have spine mobility. So I'm going to go ahead and lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. I'm thinking about opening up my front body, and then very slowly allowing my front body to come back together, easing off the contraction in the back, easing, 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 letting it touch the ground, and then slowly melt. And then go ahead and do that 1 or 2 more times. If this hurts your neck, that's normal. Go ahead and just put your hands on top of each other, put your head down, and do the same movement. You can lift the head up slightly as you do this. You're not going to get that unilateral benefit, but you'll still get the contraction of the erector spinae along the neck down into the multifidi. So go ahead and do that, and then slowly ease off back to neutral. Give you a little bit more time. Okay, and on this last one, go ahead and finish that out. I'll give you about 5 seconds, and we're going to move into our diagonal arch and curl. Okay, so we've done a back lift. This one, the more you do it, the back lift, the more you do it, the easier it's going to be, because it's not about how high you go, it's about control. So some of these movements, if you feel like, oh man, this is just making me a little bit sore, take it down a lot. Go very small with your movements, focus with your movements, and then the biggest, most important part of every one of these movements is that at the very end, you're not letting go, you're retraining your body how to relax from very start to finish. You don't want a 10 contraction and then ending at a 3. We want to go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and then flatten it up. Okay, so we did a lot of back lifts. Let's go ahead and go into another arch and curl variation. That's going to lengthen our spine out after we've done this. So what you're going to do is you're going to lay just like you did with your hands behind your head with the arch and curl. But I'm going to take my right hand, or left. You just want to grab the same knee. So I'm going to grab whatever hand I'm putting up. I'm going to grab that same knee, just like this. And just like the arch and curl, I'll have you watch me first. It's an arch and curl, but we're going to use the engagement of the front body and the lengthening of the back to bring my elbow towards my knee. So I'm going to always start with an arch first. So deep breath in. You're going to feel the knee press into the hand with the arch. And then exhale out. You'll feel the knee being drawn back into the chest. Now take a deep breath in neutral. And then we're going to start the arch and diagonal curl. Okay, so as I'm doing this, I'm making sure both are simultaneous and relaxed. Okay, so when you're doing this, you're actually lengthening out diagonally the spine now. So we're lengthening the left from the left shoulder down to the right hip, or vice versa, whichever one you're on. So go ahead and do that again. Deep breath in. Feel the knee push away. Exhale out. In neutral, take a deep breath in. And then start the flatten. Use the flatten, flatten, flatten. Feel the knee being drawn towards the chest with the flatten. And then use that last little bit of abdominal strength to lift the elbow up. And then you want to use the abdominal muscles to draw the knee towards the chest, and then the lengthening in the back. So I'm going to think about lengthening diagonally to bring my elbow towards my knee, and then very slowly easing off of that. Back to neutral. Okay, so you guys go at home, go ahead and do this 1 or 2 more times. Playing with your cortical brain, or the front part of your brain, to reteach it that whenever you arch the back, I'm really noticing that when I arch my back, my knee naturally wants to get pushed away. And then as I exhale, everything in my back's then letting go. And then as you flatten and curl, you're naturally being drawn into a ball. And then use that ball-like movement to bring the elbow towards the knee. Be the driver, lengthening diagonally in your spine. Really feel the shoulder and the hip separating from each other. And then exhale out or breathe in, and then slowly ease off. And then go ahead and do that again. So I'm going to give you about 10 seconds. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and switch sides. So you've relaxed. You may even, if you want to keep your feet on the ground, you may even feel like that hip that you just worked on is flatter or heavier on the ground. The shoulder, the opposite shoulder, is now heavier and more relaxed on the ground. So notice those things too, because that's going to help your brain be retrained. So Now take the opposite hand, put it on that same side knee, bring the other hand behind the head, and then we're gonna start on doing the same movement on the other side. So deep breath in, arch the back, exhale out. We've prepped the back now to go into a full curl. So deep breath in, neutral, and then as you exhale, start your flatten. Driving that knee towards your chest, and then lift using that upper part of the abdominal muscle and lengthening the back part of the back diagonally, and then really use that as a driver to ease off, to bring the knee and the elbow together and then ease off. And this side, I'm definitely noticing I'm chronically tighter on my left side. So if you guys want to watch, you'll probably see the huge difference that I have. So I'm going to arch first, deep breath in. Exhale back to neutral. Deep breath in. And then slowly exhale or inhale out. And then relax. Okay, so what that will tell you if one side's easier, you guys go ahead and continue to do this diagonal arch and curl, is that I have way more control in my right shoulder, and I'm more cortically aware, which that would make a lot of sense. People would think, oh, you're dominantly using one side more than the other, that means it's going to be tight. Well, not always. A lot of times it means you have more control, so I actually have more lengthening going on there. So, okay, so now I'm going to let you guys go ahead and do that 2 or 3 more times. And we're going to go ahead and switch to the next movement. Really feel that back lengthening diagonally. Use the abdominal muscles to drive the elbow towards the knee, and then slowly exhale out. Back to neutral. Okay, I'm going to give you a little bit more time, and then we're going to start switching into the hip portion. Okay. So, what I'm going to have you do, hold on 1 second. Okay, so now what I'm going to have you do is start doing some hip stuff. And I'm going to have you lay on your back, and we're going to do a crossover leg movement to start releasing your hips. So this is one of my very favorites. We're going to bring our arms to our sides, and we're going to bring, let's say, the top leg over the bottom leg. And so whatever leg is on top is like heavy dead weight. We're actually going to be retraining the opposite side, which is the leg down. So go ahead and imagine that this is a dead heavy piece of weight. And I'm going to just let my body, you can bring your arm out to the side of the leg that's down. And you're going to just let your body naturally go away from that side, using the top leg as a heavy weight to press downward. And stop whenever you feel like you need to stop. Don't press. Again, this isn't a stretch. You're going to feel some resistance. That is telling you that bottom side, that's where it's trained to stop. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use the bottom leg to press up on the top leg, and I'm going to cortically and focus, use that tight area to push up. I don't have to go all the way back up to the midline, and then slowly let the heavy weight drop it down. So then I slowly release it, find my next end point, take a deep breath in and press up, using that top leg like a heavy dead piece of weight, and then slowly exhale and let it drop a little bit more. Okay, now continue to do this, and as you do this, what I want you to focus on is where you feel tension. Wherever you feel tension, whether it's your back or your hip, focus your brain on using that to press the top leg up. So mine's my back, so I'm going to focus on using my back to press upward. And you're going to notice how dramatically that adds lengthen to the back. And then slowly exhale out, let it drop. Okay, now I feel it in a slightly different area. Now I'm going to use that area to consciously press, do the work to press that dead weight up, and then slowly exhale, and then let it drop. So continue to do that. You're starting to explore what your individual tension patterns are, so start to do that. Okay, and then go ahead and switch sides. So we're going to switch sides. Opposite leg goes on top, bottom leg is now the one that's going to be doing the work. So you're going to drop your knees towards the side of the upper leg. So we're going to let it drop, 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 drop. Feel the tension pattern. Okay, now I'm kind of feeling it in the front of my hip. So I'm going to use my bottom knee to press up, cortically focused, using that hip to press up the dead weight of the top leg. Don't have to come all the way up, and exhale out. Let that heavy weight press it down. Deep breath in, press up. You only have to go up like an inch or two, and then exhale out. Let it press down. So you guys continue to do this. Feel the twisting that's going on in the hips and the mid-spine, and feel how it's rotating and lengthening as you are retraining it. So as you press up into the top knee, focusing the energy on using whatever area stopped you from going, and then slowly exhale, lengthening that exact area that is in your tension pattern. So the more you get familiar with somatics, the better it is, because you start to really acknowledge your issues. So this is a great one to play with. You are going, okay, this is in my body what is stopping me to do this movement. Now I'm going to focus on using that part of my body to do the movement and then train it how to release. Once you start to get that concept of tension patterns and your individual ones, it opens up all the different doors of really self-maintenance, because then you can start to do any move at home, any stretch that you're familiar with at home. You'll feel that resistance pattern and go, ooh, I feel it here, I'm going to activate it, and then I'm going to slowly release it. Okay, that feels better, now I feel it here, I'm going to activate it and then slowly release it. It can really change your whole practice once you start to get that concept. Okay, so now we're done with that, so you guys go ahead and finish the last one if you're still going, and we're going to just do a little sacral low back lengthening exercise. You're going to bring your knees, one knee towards your chest. If this is uncomfortable to have both leg or the opposite leg straight, you can go ahead and bend it, but try and have it straight if you can. This is like a simple tuck, but again, find your areas of discomfort. So I'm going to bring my knees towards my chest. I'm going to pull. Okay, I'm starting to feel some tension here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press out with my knee. Okay, now I'm going to continue to press with my knee, but I'm going to pull harder. So I'm going to pull with a 10, press with a 7. And I'm going to think about lengthening my sacrum and my low back. Okay, here's my next stopping point. I'm going to press. I'm going to let my knee win. I'm going to let my knee win. Now I'm going to continue to press into my hands, but now I'm going to let my hands win. I'm going to let my hands win. I'm going to let my body lengthen. And you can get really good progress. So do this a couple times on one side. Press, using that low back, and then slowly pull, lengthening that low back. But remember, you're always actively using the back muscles to reteach them how to lengthen out. Okay, now go ahead and switch sides. So opposite sides, wrap your fingers, interlace your fingers, put it below your knee, and then start to bring the knee towards the chest. This one's way tighter on me. This is my focus point right now at my home practice. So I'm going to go ahead and press with my knee out into my hands, let it win, and then slowly let my hands win. So I'm still, again, pressing with a 7, but pulling with a 10. Actively lengthening. And you may feel a pinch in the hip. Try and focus on that on the next press. So I'm focusing on the pinch in the hip, letting my knee win, and then slowly exhale, and then let my hands win, pulling, but still pressing into my hands gently with the knee at a 7. Ooh, and I can get farther, just refocusing my hip. So notice, go to those areas, go, ugh, that's sore. Use it to press the knee, and then continue to use it as you pull on the knee and lengthen. And then you'll start to notice, oh, way more flexibility really quickly compared to a stretch where I'm like, I'm going to rip something, which does happen because your brain thinks you're going to hurt itself, so it just snaps. You know, that's how these strains and these tears happen, is you're taking a muscle that's chronically taught to be tight,
and then you quickly lengthen it. So what does your brain do? It gives, and you end up with a tear. It's not like something structural has happened. Your brain just has forgotten how to let go of the muscle, and then when you really need to use it, it doesn't have the mobility to fully lengthen. Okay, so go ahead and finish that last one, and we're going to go over our very last movement of the day. And this is a really fun one because you can do your own exploring. So go ahead and end that last one, and you're going to bring one knee towards your chest. So let's go ahead and go with the opposite knee that we just used. So I'm going to bring my hand to the outside of the knee, and I'm going to go the opposite direction. So you've probably done this a ton of times at home. This one's going to be lengthening all the way from the knee to my hip to my spine, all the way up. Now, here's the fun part, is you're going to find your particular problems. So go ahead and move that knee a little bit. Feel where you feel the tension. Stop in the area that you feel the tension, whether it's up here, down here, up there, a little bit with a little bit more of a straight leg. Find your area, feel where it feels tight and stuck. Now use that to press out into the hand. So I'm pressing, 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 using for me my IT band hip area. Okay, now I'm continuously pressing into my hand, but now I'm gonna let my hand pull down harder. But again, using that 7-10 ratio, I'm pulling with a 10, but I'm pressing with a 7. Ooh, more length. Okay, so now I'm feeling it a bit more here. So I'm going to use my back. So you do the same thing at home. Find your next stuck area. I'm going to use that to press out. So now my knee is a 10 and my hand's a 7. So I'm pressing, pressing, pressing. And then let's change it. Now I'm going to pull with a 10 and my knee is going to press out with a 7. Yeah, and really feel that back and hip lengthen. And then go to your next area, maybe it's a bit higher. Okay, mine's a bit higher, so it's a bit higher up into this area of my range of motion. So you may have to change the position of your hands. Sometimes it's straight on, sometimes it's a little bit lower. For this angle, I feel like I need to go diagonal, I'm gonna go diagonal. So I'm pressing with my hand, pressing with my knee out into my hand, and then slowly pulling down while continuously pressing with a 7 out with the knee. And then I'm gonna lengthen that area. And then go ahead and do that about one more time, finding your area. And you're going to notice that you're going to lengthen way, way more. And then when you're done with that last one, go ahead and just relax your body. And then just feel your body. Palpate it is what we call. Touch it, feel it, see how soft it is now. And then go ahead and switch sides. So now we're going to take the other leg. Keep the bottom leg straight. Take the opposite leg. Put your hand on the outside of the knee, and then I'm going to press out with the knee. Keep pressing with the knee, and then slowly start to pull harder with the hand. So again, pushing out with the knee at a 7, pulling with a 10. Okay, that's about where I'm going to stop. I feel like if I press any harder, I'm going to cramp. So I'm going to push again. Don't have to go all the way up to the middle. So I'm actively using that outside hip and then slowly ease off to a 7 with that outside hip pull, and then pull with my hand. Ooh, that was a good one, a good release where I call those good releases the ones where you get a bunch of length real quickly. Okay, so continue to do that. Feel the twisting motion in the back, feel it in the hip, and we're going to do that about 2 more times. Remember, finding those areas that are kinked up. So continue to do this, but become familiar with your body. Like I have a little catch here in my hip. What is that? That I know from a body worker, that's my hip flexor. So, again, once you get to really know your body, I can go, okay, I'm going to engage my hip flexor by bringing my knee towards my chest. Hip flexor also helps me do a crunch. So I'm going to do a slight crunch, and I'm going to press my knee into my hand, and then I'm going to slowly ease off of it. And it's great. Okay, now I don't feel that anymore, and you can start to really notice your functional patterns and how to release in yourself. Okay, so go ahead and finish that last one. Feel your body. You can get up, kind of how I am in a seated position, really move around. Now remember, you may feel a little sore. That just means you went a little hard with the movements. So I want you to play with these for the rest of the day, find the ones that you really liked,
and start to re-educate your body. You'll feel way better tomorrow. You're gonna notice that you're way less stiff. So these are best done in the morning and the evening. We wanna wake our body up, we wanna calm it down. The more you do it, the more results you're gonna get more quickly. Because I tell people, you know, when an athlete learns a new sport, they just don't learn a pitch or a hit or, you know, basketball overnight. They're doing it every day until it becomes subcortical. So the more you do it, the better. So we miss you guys at Fusion. I'm going to be putting more videos up shortly, probably Saturday. And we're closely monitoring the situation through the state, city, and county of when we can open. In the meantime, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can comment below. I'm doing online pain consultations, and Dr. Roberts is actually doing online nutritional consultations as well. It's only $30 for both of us for up to 30 minutes. So please reach out if you're having issues of your own, and check us out on youtube.com. You can look up Fusion Whole Body Recovery. You'll see tons of tips and tricks like this one, including some longer classes as well, to help you through these times. And then also follow us on Facebook. We'll be putting some fun things out, giveaways and such. So I hope to see you guys on Saturdays, and have a great day.